What's up everyone, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing a beer from the Gemüt Biergarten, and they are out of Columbus, Ohio, and this is their Woden's Hunt Dunkel. So this is a Munich-style Dunkel Lager that comes in at 5.8% alcohol by volume, 35 IBUs at the time of review. I don't know exactly how old this can is because it does not have a can-on date. However, I believe it's relatively fresh, and that's because it was sent to me by a very good friend of mine and viewer of the channel, Curtis. So huge thanks to him for this beer. In the description box, I'll post a link to the beer mail unboxing video I did that contains all the goodies that Curtis sent my way, and he sent me 10 different beers, and this was the only beer in the entire beer mail that didn't come from the Burial Beer Company. Curtis wanted to kind of throw me off the trail, so to speak, and he wanted it to be kind of a surprise that they were mostly Burial beers, so he threw in a local beer here, and he said that Gemüt is one of his favorite local breweries as far as like low ABV slash lagers go, and he did say that this one is relatively fresh. I believe he said this was canned in either late December of last year or early January of this year, so no older than, we'll say, 2 months old, but more likely in that 5 to 6 week range. So I don't review a ton of Munich style Dunkel lagers, but I do enjoy them. On the side here it just says malt, hops, yeast, and water, which that's the ingredients to beer. Well, at least classic beer. Anyway, let's crack this one open, get it into the mug here, and see what we got going on. So I'm pretty excited about this one. Like I said, I haven't really heard about these guys, but if Curtis speaks highly of them, then I am into whatever they're offering. So I'm using the mug here, hopefully be able to get it all in, or at least most of it. We'll do something like that. Put the can over here. Really like the artwork as well. So how does that look? Well, it has a little bit of Dirty Glass Mafia at the bottom, but yeah, that looks kind of exactly how I would expect it to look. It has beautiful, like, deepish brown color, ruby red hints. Hold it up to light. There's a nice clarity, but it does have a little bit more murk than I'm anticipated. I thought it would be a little bit more of a clarity to it, I would say. But as we speak, I think that looks pretty good for the style. Had about a finger of a straight-on khaki-colored head. Now it is dissipated to about a half a finger. But for the most part, I think it's kind of exactly what you would want out of a beer like this. But yeah, it looks beautiful. Anyway, let's get a nose. Now, the reason I like this style is it has more of, like, at least to me, of a darker kind of crusty brown bread vibe from the malt character. And I've mentioned this before, but, you know, Helles lagers are kind of my favorite lighter lager kind of style. And that's because of the complexity to the bread component from the malt. And that's what's happening here. A lot of toasty, again, toasty, slightly roasted, kind of like, yeah, like a pumpernickel or something like that, but like the crust of it. There's a little bit of a nuttiness in here, some caramel toffee. Dried fruit, I'd say, like I don't want to say like a raisin or a plum, but something dried, like a darker dried fruit. A touch of like a floral kind of slightly herbaceous kind of hop note, not that big. I know these styles aren't meant to be like, you know, not have a big hop character to them. It just smells very malty and inviting. I will say that 5.8%, I don't know like what the range for the style is. Seems maybe a little bit higher, but probably right in the wheelhouse. Yeah, it smells really good. Let's get into it. Cheers, everybody. Thanks again, Curtis. Prost. Okay, so it has, in the taste, a little bit more of a spicy herbaceousness from the hops. And the hop character in here is like mild to moderate, more approaching moderate. This reminds me of, what the hell was the Fox Farm beer that was delicious? I think it was Helmhold. Not positive, but I think it was Helmhold. And that was a Munich-style Dunkel. And that's been my favorite American brewed one that I've had. It just had such a great complexity to it, but also very well balanced. This isn't too far off of that. Now, this isn't like, you know, the best beer I've ever had or anything, but for the style from an American brewery, it's pretty damn delicious. Body mouthfeel. Body on this, I would say if they did a write-up, this would say full body. For the style, 5.8%. Munich-style Dunkel Lager. This is full body. This is honestly higher side of medium body. It has oomph to it. It has a consistency that is bigger than a sub 6% would indicate as far as the ABV goes. The mouthfeel, it's crisp, it's clean because it's a lager, it's refreshing. It has a nice, spritzy, moderate carbonation. It's effervescent, but at the same time, smooth on the second half of the palate. I've been saying that a lot lately because it's hard to kind of talk about the mouthfeel as far as like if a beer is quite carbonated, how can it still be smooth? For me anyway, it's a sensation of that spritzy carbonation that you get as soon as you pop it and take a sip, right? But on the finish, it kind of smooths out and levels out, where if you have like a seltzer or a soda pop or something, it almost stings going down the palate. It's carbonated throughout the palate. No, this is carbonated up front, and then on the finish, it kind of has a nice smoothness to it. Not like incredibly smooth, but a nice smoothness on the finish. Yeah, so really crisp up front. Taste, nose fouled soup without question into the taste. Tons of toasted, like pumpernickel brown bread. It's crusty, more like a crusty kind of sensation as opposed to like the innards of a bread. It has some nuttiness here, generic nuttiness, but it's really welcoming. Almost like a shout out to Paul over at PA Brew, who's a good friend of mine, fellow beer tuber, like an almond husk or like something in that realm. It just has like more of a drying kind of nutty sensation. There's a little bit of caramel and toffee, some like dry cocoa powder as well. Maybe even a touch of coffee, but for the most part, it's chocolate, caramel, toffee, but not too big and not too sweet. Underneath that, a nice dried fruit, like I was talking about in the nose, has maybe a touch of a raisin or maybe even a fig or something. Very, very minute. Now I'm talking like, huge or anything, but it's subtle, nuanced. Then on the second half of the palate, it dries out immensely. This is almost full on dry, mild to moderate bitterness, like I said, more approaching moderate, and it has that almost herbaceous kind of quality to it, like almost a slight spicy herbaceousness. What I don't remember with many Munich's Dunkels, that is, usually more often than not, I get like more of like a floral herbaceousness, if anything, or just like a straight out floral like grassiness, but whatever. It definitely has a hop character that's noticeable but not overbearing. 5.8%, you can't tell. This is extremely well made. Outside of the clarity not being as, I'd say, proper for a style like this, although as I'm drinking it down, it's getting a little bit more of a nice clarity, but it is darker. That's beautiful, like ruby red kind of like mahogany color. Definitely has like a brownish kind of reddish tint to it. So as far as like how the beer looks itself, and look at the glass lacing. I don't know how well you'll see that, but look at that glass lacing. It's awesome. Yeah, this is really nice. First beer from them, and I think it's quite proper. It's pretty damn good. Maybe that, hop bitterness being a little bit different, maybe outside the norm. I don't know. I don't drink enough of this style to be like, oh, it's got to be exactly this. I just know that this is a very well balanced. Love the complex malty character. It's very easy to drink. It's right around 6%. Doesn't drink like it outside of the body. The flavors would indicate it's definitely a 6% beer, but it's so easy to drink. I could session this without question. It's a really good overall beer, and I'm digging it. So thanks to Curtis for hooking me up with this one. So the only not in burial beer in the beer mail he sent my way, and it's a good one. So Woden's Hunt Dunkel from Gemüt Biergarten. I am going to give this a straight 4.25 out of 5. I think I gave that Helmhold a 4.5, assuming that is the beer that I am remembering. And I would say that this isn't that far off, quarter point rating lower, yeah, but this is still a really, really tasty beer. All right, price point availability. It was $3.25 for the can. It was actually on at the can, so I'd imagine 4-packs at the brewery or in and around Columbus are probably $12 to $13. That's fine for something like this. I think it's really well done. And availability, I have no idea. So Curtis, you want to chime in the description? Just chime in the description box, Curtis. Right, just get in there. Get in the comment section. Let me know what you know about their availability. I have honestly 100%. Transparent with you, I've not heard of these guys until Curtis sent this beer. No idea they existed. So it's really cool to be introduced to a new brewery that I never knew of before. And the better part about this is the fact that this beer is actually quite tasty. So if anybody knows about the distribution, price points, I did remember that Curtis said this was a flagship beer. And the reason why he knew it was a bit fresher is like a local place. I don't think they specifically got a drop, but he thinks they got a drop in like early January, so that's why I said late December, early January. This doesn't have any oxidation. Doesn't taste old or anything, so this seems like it's pretty fresh, so I trust what Curtis is saying. So if you've had this one before or anything from these guys, please post in the comment section. Let me know what you think about them. Curtis, I didn't see your Untapped check-in, so I'll have to check it out, but a really well done Munich-style Dunkel Lager. If you like the style and you're in Ohio and you can get your hands on their beer, definitely check this one out at the very least. I think it's very comparable to a lot of the other American brewed ones that I've had. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to shut this one down. Appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. To the next one. Cheers. Oh yeah, did I say this is balanced? I really didn't talk about sweetness. Yeah, it has a good malt sweetness as expected, but that really firm dryness with that mild to moderate bitterness balances it out in a beautiful way that makes me want to take this down. And I'm probably going to drink the rest of this in like 10, 15 minutes. So go time. Cheers. Prost.